Hey everybody, Peace Outcast here, back with more Everlasting Summer, and I apologize, I'm sure I've probably called it Endless Summer, because I keep on wanting to say Endless Summer. Anyway, getting back into it. I was having a dream. Now we know, it was all a dream. Seemed like I was in some kind of vacuum, but nothing but nothing around me. Not only around, I was the only creature in the universe. As if the universe had returned to a state of singularity right before the Big Bang. And something was just about to happen. Suddenly, I heard a voice. I could not make out the words, but it sounded familiar. The voice was whispering something gently, as if soothing me. And then I realized it was the voice of that strange girl from the bus. The girl from the dream. What is she trying to tell me? Who is she? I woke up. Bright sunlight struck my eyes. It was almost noon. After stretching lazily on the bed and yawning, I started to recall the previous day. In a few seconds, all its events passed before my eyes. The bus, the camp, the local inhabitants. No, that's just wrong. Not this whole situation, not me being here. It was wrong by default. My attitude towards what was happening was wrong. Because yesterday I fell asleep here just like that. And before that, I chatted nicely with the local pioneers, even managed to crack a few jokes. How could I act like that in such a situation? I should be frightened, startled by every little rustling. Should avoid all contact with the potentially hostile creatures. The last day's events were getting hazy, like I had a hangover. This really feels like the morning after a heavy drinking party. Yesterday's natural, flawless, absolutely normal conduct becomes a nightmare in the morning, a grotesque illustration from the Divine Comedy. Yes, it's just like that, and I can't change the past now. Then again, I'd probably assessed the situation and was acting accordingly. I glanced around trying to figure out whether I'd been thrown somewhere else, but Olga's cabin looked the same as yesterday. Everything seemed to be in its place, except for a pioneer uniform which was hanging from the bedhead. I fumbled with it in distrust and tried it on. At least it was better than walking around in winter clothes. Wish I could see myself, but I looked like a clown. And for that, I needed a mirror, at least a tiny one. Finally found one on the wardrobe door. Simeon, holy! I looked at the newfound pioneer and jumped away in surprise. There was some teenager on the other side of the mirror. He resembled me, but he wasn't me. Where did the weak stubble go? Where were the bags under my eyes, the slouch, that deathly fatigue on my face? It seemed that I had not been thrown back in time or into a parallel reality, but instead had simply changed bodies with someone else. Right. That's real simple. Such things happen every day. I took a closer look at the stranger, and only then I realized that it was actually me. It just wasn't today's me. Maybe the one from between my school and university years. Well, at least that's something. There you go. The person in an extreme situation did fail to notice the elephant in the room after all. But the camp leader noticed it, and last night she told me off for addressing her without proper respect. Screw that. I doubt my appearance affects anything else. If the clock was not lying, breakfast was long over. Oh well, I'll try to find something in the canteen. Worked out well yesterday with Slavia, didn't it? Those memories made me smile involuntarily. The sun was shining brightly outside, a light breeze was blowing. A beautiful summer day. I had not felt so good in the morning for several years. All problems were gone, vanished into clouds that were white as snow. Olga came out of nowhere. Good morning, Simeon. Morning. I smiled, doing my best to show that no matter what, my morning was indeed good. You only arrived yesterday, so I decided not to wake you up, but breakfast... Never mind, here, take this. She handed me something wrapped in paper. Judging by the oily stains, there had to be sandwiches inside. Oh, thank you. Now go wash yourself. I was about to leave. Wait a second. Olga quickly ran into the house and came out to shove a small bag into my hands. Inside it, I found a toothbrush, soap, a small towel, and something else. I did not look too closely. A pioneer should always be clean and tidy. Let me do your neckerchief properly this first time. Yours is askew. You should do it yourself once you learn how to. Do we have to? I'm gonna wash myself now. Yeah, right. It could get hooked up on the tap and strangle me. Fine. Later then. And don't forget about the lineup. Pencils, paper, drawing lines. You don't forget such things. What lineup? What do you mean, what lineup? She frowned. It's Monday today. Weird. By my approximation, it should have been Sunday. Then again, a shift in the day of the week is hardly the worst thing. Usually we have lineups early in the morning before breakfast, but it's Monday today, so we're having it at 12 o'clock. Don't be late. Alright, but where? At the square. Where else? There was no reason to argue. I headed to the bathing place. I knew I could forget about separate showers and toilet, but at the sight of the malfunctioning symptom of decaying socialism, a funny turtle with a tin shell, paw taps, and a ceramic belly, I felt sick. I was not a squeamish person, but nevertheless, standing there, I realized that there was still some minimal level of habitual comfort, which I found it troublesome to do without. It's often like that. When you lose things that you thought were ordinary and common, you suddenly understand just how essential they were. Screw this, as if I have any choice. The water was ice cold. While washing my hands was not an issue, washing my face and my mouth became a big problem. There was no toothpaste in the bag which Olga gave me. I could brush my teeth without it, but there was a small round box wrapped in the towel. Tooth powder. Cute. 1 point for me being somewhere in the past. I washed myself quite quickly, also due to the ice-cold water. Someone was coming quickly, or more like running towards me. I turned around. It was Lavia, dressed in a tracksuit. This girl would probably look good in anything. Pioneer uniform, bikini, probably even a spacesuit. Hey there! Ohio! I mean, Wasu. Good morning. Yeah. Oh yeah, real smooth. Why didn't he come for breakfast? I overslept. I said it as if I was proud of it about it. But Olga gave me some sandwiches. Oh, great then. Don't forget about the lineup. Yeah, sure. As if I could forget. Right, I gotta run. Enjoy yourself. She waved goodbye to me and disappeared around the path's bend. Looks like it's a couple of minutes until the lineup. I should quickly pass by my home to drop off my washing bag and eat the sandwiches and then head to the square. Swung the door open, the door of the camp leader's cabin. I swung open the door of the camp leader's cabin and rushed inside as if jumping into the last car of a departing train. It didn't turn out to be the best idea because inside I found Olga, who was changing. I froze on the spot, trying not to breathe. Finally, the camp leader noticed me. Samyan! I looked away immediately. Have you heard of knocking? Now get out! Yeah, that was real clumsy. Although I did enjoy the sight. Olga followed me out in a minute. Here, take this. Now it is your home too. She handed me a key. I put it in my pocket. Home. Of course, if you disregard how fantastical the current events were, the camp was far from being the worst place on Earth. But to call it home, just after 1 day spent here, I doubt I'll ever be able to do so. Alright, let's go. We're late. But what about the sandwiches? Just eat them on the way. We were passing along the lines of the pioneers' cabins while I was tucking into the ham sandwiches, and Olga kept on talking and talking. She was buzzing like a game of Operation with Parkinson's. But I cared about nothing but the food. Understood? Huh? You weren't listening. Sorry. Today is the first day of your new life as a pioneer, and you should do your best so that it becomes a happy life. Yeah, definitely. I'm serious. A pioneer has many duties. Great responsibility is conferred upon him. To participate in social work, to help his juniors, to study, and study, and study again. We here all like one big family, and you'll become a part of it. Yeah, a part. I'd even sign a party membership card if it could save me from listening to this nonsense. I hope that after your term here is over, you'll keep the most pleasant memories about our camp. Memories will last your whole life. And when will this term end? Why do you keep asking silly things? It seems I won't get any information from her. A shame, really. This world appears to be so friendly, but it never bothered to introduce itself to me. Perhaps now I can take things somewhat easier than yesterday? Seems like I have some unspoken ceasefire with it. It isn't trying to hurt me, but I'm forbidden from asking questions. Of course, this situation isn't a pleasant one, but what can I do about it? A bad peace is better than a good dispute. The most important thing for you now is to make the best of the time you'll spend here. I'll do my best. Honestly, I was very tired of this conversation. It would be good to know where that here is, but we came to the square. The pioneers were already lined up. What? Is somebody not here yet? Nope, all here. She looked around at her brave pioneer troops. All right, go stand somewhere. Weird. Why did she tell me there were no more sleeping places? While the chief was running her mouth about our plans for the week, I stared at the people. That girl with the glasses new? I don't remember seeing her. A few heads away from me stood Electronique. I think that's probably how you should pronounce that, not electronic. A little further, Lena and Slavia, and the end of the line, Yelena and Alyssa. Everyone I had met was here. Olga spoke about some competitions, and I turned my attention to the monument. Agenda. I could not remember any revolutionary with a similar name. He had a weird posture, too, as if he was looking around with distrust, maybe contempt, or even disdain. Probably some local leader. Daydreaming again? Flavia brought me back to reality. Olga stood nearby. Still remember the plan for the week? The plan? I'll never forget the plan. Perfect. She looked at Slavia. Did you bring it? Yes. Slavia handed me a piece of paper. It's a checklist. Here are 4 tasks to check off. Do it all today. Before you start, sign up for a club. There's some clubs in the clubhouse and a music club in the separate building. Then visit the infirmary. Finally, visit the library. Got it? Yes. Checklist seemed like a good chance to find out something, since I had to go places I haven't been before. Then come on, start right now. What about lunch? Don't worry, I'll bring you more sandwiches. The checklist is more important. Good luck. They departed too fast for me to ask anything else. Missed breakfast, now I'll miss lunch too. This ain't good. Maybe I'll manage it in time somehow? Lunch starts at 1 p.m. Then again, if I go there, I might miss a place from the checklist. Okay, it's too early to go to the canteen anyway. Oh, wow. Can I? Oh, interesting. Okay, so I can't click on the gray things. Go to the clubhouse, music club. So I can go to the clubhouse and pick a club, or I can join the music club. Then kitchen, dining hall, infirmary, library. I believe, if if I remember. I already wasn't paying any more attention than Semyon. What's that? That looks like Alyssa and Yelana. Is that their... Oh, that's where they stay. This is where I stay. Apparently I have a bag on my head. This is... I think that's Slavia, and I don't know who that is. Did I meet her? I don't remember her. This is Electronique and some other guy that I haven't met, by the looks of it. And that is Lena and... Oh, right, there's, was it Rena? Something like that? Who's that? Whatever. I can't remember everybody. Well, let's go check out the clubhouse, I guess. I went to the clubhouse. To tell the truth, I never really liked extracurricular activities. At school, I used to find any excuse to skip extra classes. At university, I had no interest in participating in the student council. I wasn't interested in boxing, aero modeling, or sewing. So I came here just to check off the box. Nobody was there. Found myself in something like a hut of a junior robot enthusiast. There were wires and simple printed circuits scattered everywhere. Chips, and on the table proudly stood an oscillograph. Oscillograph, I guess. I heard voices from another room, and then two pioneers appeared. It was Electronique, and the other one I didn't know. Hey, Simeon, we've been expecting you. Seems he knows everything about everyone. Why were you expecting me? Well, of course, because you came to sign up for our cybernetics club, didn't you? You didn't let me answer. And this is Shurik. He's in charge here. I assume there's only 2 of you in the club? Well, you can say that. It's 3 now. Shurik came up to me and assertively offered his hand. His face was somewhat familiar. Welcome to the club. Yep. Now I'll show you around. Make yourself at home. Guys, I just wanted to... We're always welcoming new members. He said it in such a way that the anthem of the Soviet Union suddenly started playing in my head. It's amazing. I even remembered the words. In 1st grade, I had a textbook with the lyrics in the back. No, I just wanted you to sign my checklist. Yep, you sign up to the club, we'll sign your checklist. He grinned. Damn Electronique. I was getting ready for a long and boring argument, but then I heard someone enter. I looked back and saw Slavia. Ah, Semyon, I hope they're not giving any trouble. She narrowed her eyes, looking at the future of the motherland's robotics industry. I know these two. They can... Well, you know, actually, I just need to get my checklist signed. I decided to take advantage of the situation. No problem, give it to me. Slavia took the paper and marched up to Shurik. Sign it. Hold on, we're not done yet. You're done. Sign it now. She gave Shurik such a threatening look that it made him lose every possible objection. He wrote some squiggles on the checklist. I thanked Slavia, then I moved on in a mellow mood. Oh, okay, that was unexpected. Try the music club. The music club, a small one-level building, was located some distance from the other camp buildings. I opened the door and entered without hesitation. There were enough instruments for a whole orchestra here. Drums, guitars, even a piano. I spent some time looking closely at every instrument, wanting to guess the time period they were from, but suddenly I heard a crawling sound coming from underneath the piano. Oh dear. A girl. She seems like she was looking for something. She was standing on all fours in such a suggestive pose that I hesitated to speak at first. Excuse me. Ah, who's there? Ow, sorry. She tried to stand up, but the bottom of the piano prevented her from doing so. Ouch! She struggled out. Sorry I scared you. It's nothing. Oh, you got a checklist. You must be new here. Yes? My name is Miku. No, really, I'm serious. Nobody believes me, but it's my real name. My mother is Japanese. My dad met her when he was building... Well, it wasn't him who was building. He's an engineer. And he was working on a nuclear power plant there. Or a dam? Or a bridge? Yeah, whatever. She's talking so fast she swallowed half the words she tried to pronounce. I'm Semyon. Great. Want to be in our club? It's only me here now, but it'll be two of us then. Do you play anything? When I became antisocial, I bought a guitar and learned a few chords, but then I forgot about it. Since I quit everything that required more than a couple of hours to learn. You know, I wasn't planning to do anything like that, really. Oh, it's okay, I'll teach you. Maybe a trumpet, for example? How about a violin? I know it all, honestly. There's no point in arguing with the orchestra girl, since there was only another cascade of words waiting to blast at me. Hey, I'll think about it. Can you just sign it for now? Yes, sure, give it to me, but be sure to come around. I sing, too. I'll sing you some Japanese folk songs, or maybe, if you're not into that, something more contemporary? Sure, thanks. Gotta go now. Of course, come anytime. She's blushing. The end of her sentence stayed inside. Might be nice to hang around with a guitar in the evening, in such company. I turned to leave and came face to face with Alyssa. She eyed me suspiciously. Why did you come? The checklist. Got it signed? Yes. Then move it. Alyssa went inside and I hurried to leave the place. Lovely. Okay, I think I need to go to the infirmary next. What's the point of visiting the infirmary? My health was fine. The fresh local air clearly did me some good. I felt fresher than usual. But I just have to visit it. I entered. Common infirmary, like my school's doctor's room. Whoa, hello. I don't think most schools have a doctor that looks like that. A middle-aged woman sat at the table. Obviously, she was a nurse. She gazed intently at me, assessing me while continuing to write something. Well, hello, Pioneer, said the nurse without being distracted from her work. Good afternoon, ma'am. I have something. Sit down, please. I looked around the room. On the couch? I sat down. Strip. She said all of it with an even tone. What for? To inspect. To... I have never seen that word before. Auscultate? Auscultate? I have no idea what that word means. To check your health, you know. By the way, my name is Violetta, but you can call me Viola. She turned to me. What are you waiting for? Strip. But I have no health issues. I've got this. I neatly gave her the paper. Later. She took the stethoscope off her neck, seeming like she intended to probe me with it. But then someone knocked on the door. The nurse answered unwillingly. Come in. In a moment, the door opened widely and Electronique rushed inside. Hello, I fell during the football game. Nonsense, of course. I'm okay, but Olga... There's a massive bruise under Electronique's eye. Yeah, you got punched in the eye. That's what really happened. I doubt that this could be from a football injury. Sit down, I'll have a look, she said to him. And you, pass me your checklist. The nurse quickly signed it and continued. If something hurts, come to me immediately, Pioneer. I decided not to answer and went out, closing the door behind me. Lucky. That nurse is surely something else. Yeah. Alright, Library. Actually, I love reading, but spending my days in a library under the current circumstances was well beyond my scope. So I better hurry up and with this checkpoint. As I stepped inside, a memory from my childhood emerged in my head. It was very vivid. I'm 7 or 8 years old. I'm at the library with my mother. While she's looking through the books I might need for my studies, I'm sitting in the corner and looking through the collection of comic books. Back then, I didn't know why they had so many, or why I couldn't take some of them with me. The notion of collective property was something my mind hadn't grasped yet at that age. However, back then, whole concept of property was pretty hazy to me. This memory seemed even stranger now while I was standing in this particular camp, where they might have managed to build communism in 3 years. Soviet symbolism was all over the place, and the shelves were full of related literature. Of course, I wasn't planning to read any of these. Getting acquainted with a full collection of books by Marx was the last thing on earth I would think of. Where's the librarian? I didn't spend much time looking for her. Okay, there's the glasses girl. I looked closely. Short hair, thick glasses. They don't look thick. Rather cute face. She was snoring so peacefully I couldn't just wake her up. I can wait. If she doesn't wake up in half an hour, maybe then. I couldn't just sit there, so I took a random book from the nearest bookshelf. Arthur Schopenhauer? The World as Will and Representation. I opened it roughly in the middle and started reading. The life of a man, with its endless upkeeps, wants, and suffering, is to be regarded as the explanation and paraphrase of the procreative act, i.e., the absolute claim of the will to live, and furthermore, it is also the reason the man owes nature his death, and thinks with anxiety of this debt. This was not the evidence. Is this not the evidence that our existence involves guilt? At any rate, we always exist from time to time, paying with death for our birth. We always exist and alternately bear all the joy and sorrow of life, since neither of both can pass us without some effect. That is a result of our stated will to live. Thus, the fear of death, which, in spite of all the miseries of life, holds us firmly to it, is really elusive. But just as elusive as the impulse which has attracted us into it. This attraction itself may be seen objectively as the mutual longing glances of two lovers. They are the purest expression of the will to live in its affirmation. How gentle and tender it is. It wants happiness and quiet pleasure and mild joys for itself, for others, for all. Someone knocked on the door, thank goodness. I closed the book quickly and put it back in its place. What a nice habit, knocking on the door. I should pick it up. Here's Lena. Oh. Hi. I smiled. Hi, I just wanted to return a book. She had a copy of Gone with the Wind I saw yesterday. Oh, Xenia is sleeping. I'll come back later. I'm awake. I turned around in surprise to look at her. She eyed me closely from behind her table. What is it you wanted? I need you to check here. Give it here. She quickly signed the paper and gave it back to me. She had this look on her face that made me want to keep quiet. Lena came up to her to return her book. I thanked Xenia, and went out. Finally got all the signatures. Now I had to go back to Olga and give it to her. She was sitting in front of her cabin reading a book. Doesn't look like a good role model for the perfect pioneer that she's planning to turn me into. Wonder if her responsibilities extended beyond giving fiery speeches at the lineup, scolding Yelena, and getting involved into my moral, physical, and ideological growth. Here. I offered her my checklist. She placed it in her pocket without even looking at the signatures. Great. I could have signed up myself without going anywhere. Perfect. So did you meet our nurse? Yes. For some reason her question sent shivers down my spine. Which club you signed up for? I didn't. I'd need to think first. That's a pity. It's vital for you to sign in somewhere tomorrow. Of course. Sure. Right, it's time to go to dinner. About time. I was getting hungry. That was fast. I headed to the canteen together with Olga. I looked at the sky and noticed that the sun was already setting. That was really, really fast. On the porch stood Alyssa, Elektronik, Yelena, and Slavia. As we came up, I heard what they were talking about. And never call me Dvachi again, or you'll get another one. I didn't call you that. You're hearing things. He did. I heard it all. You weren't even there. I was. In the bushes. Oh, good grief. Come on, you guys, stop it. So it wasn't a football injury Elektronik suffered earlier today. The nurse did a good job. Couldn't even see his black eye. Olga came up to them and asked about the ruckus. What happened? Alyssa and Cheskov? I don't know. I didn't do anything. Shrugged with antipathy and went inside. Right, dinner time. I entered last. There weren't too many free seats. There were few free chairs near Alyssa across the canteen, but I'd sooner starve for a week or two than risk my head near her. There was also a seat near Yelena, but I'm not into traditional Chinese whatever crawls cuisine. Finally, a free chair near Miku. Looks like I'll have to pick my poison. Mind if I sit here? Oh yeah, sure. I mean, no, I don't mind. I mean, yes, you can sit here. I sat down. Look, it's buckwheat today. Do you like buckwheat? And chicken? I don't like chicken. Well, not that I don't like it. But if you asked me what I would prefer, I'd say stroganoff beef. Or ragu. No, maybe just a hamburger. Or a rump steak. Do you like rump steak? I'm not that picky about my food. That's the simple truth. How's that so? But the desserts, you know, they aren't really good here. I like ice cream. Do you like ice cream? I just love 48 kopecks and Leningradsky. Oh, sorry, I keep talking to myself. 48 kopecks Leningradsky ice cream brands popular in late Soviet Union. Okay. Maybe you like Eskimo better. Dinner was starting to get on my nerves thanks to such company. And I'm not the kind of person that can just ignore someone who's talking to them. Even her. We're at the same table after all. You know, I once bought a waffle cone and started eating, and then you know what? I found a screw in there. A real screw. Can you imagine that? Or was it a bolt? I don't really know. Screws are those that you tighten with screwdrivers, and bolts are those that you turn with a wrench. Yes? If there was a speed eating contest going on, I would probably be in the top 3 winners by now. Right, I'll be going. Enjoy your meal. I got up and headed outside. Miku was saying something, but her words were drowned by the crowd of loudly dining pioneers. Well, I'm actually going to end this episode here. Thanks very much. We'll pick it up in the next one. Hope you enjoyed this so far. It's kind of crazy. He seems to be really settling into the situation here. And we're getting some glimpses of some very attractive ladies. So that's always good and always something you can expect from visual novels in general. See you guys in the next episode.